Morning, Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudhirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer obeisances unto the personality of Godhead. Narayana unto Narayana, which is the supermost human being, and to Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and to the author Srila Vyasadeva. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the second canto, entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. And we are on chapter 7, Spiritual Incarnation. I think sometimes there is another title, but and my understanding is that we are on text 30, yes, 30. Grinita Yatyat Apabandam
Upabandham
Amusya Mata Subham Sutasya Na Tu Tattat Amusya Mati Yat Shrimbata Asya Vadane Bhuvanani Gopi Samvikshya Shankita Shankitamana Pratibodhita Asit Grinita Yadyadupapanda Mamushamata Shulpam Sutasya Natutata Amushamati
Shubham Sutasya Natutadamushyamati
Yatrimbato Shavadane Bhuvanani Gopi
Yajrim Bhato Shavadane Bhuvanani Gopi
Samvikshya Sankitamana Pratibodhitasit
Samvikshya Shankitamana Pratibodhitasit
Grinitayadupapanda Mamushamata
Grinitayadupabandhamamushyamata
Shulbam Sutasya Natutatadumushamata Mati
Shurvam Sutasya Natutadamushyamati
Yadshrimbato Shavadana Bhuvanani Gopi
Yajrim Bhato Syavadane Bhuvanani Gopi
Samvikshya Sankitamana Pradibodhitasit
Samvikshya Sankitamana Pratibodhitasit
Grinitayadupapandanamushamata
Grinitayadupabandhamamushyamata
Shulbam Sutasya Natatatamushamati
Shurvam Sutasya Natutadamushyamati
Yajrimbato Shavadane Bhavanani Gopi
Yajrim Bhato Syavadane Bhuvanani Gopi
Samviksha Sankitamana Paribodhitasit
Samviksha Sankitamana Pratibodhitasit Grinitayaya Rupavandamamushamata
Venitayaya Rupabandanamushamata
Shurvam Sutasya Natu Tattadamushamati
Sulbam Sutasya Natatat Mushamati
Yajrim Bhatosya Vadane Bhuvanani Gopi
Yashim Batosha Vadani Bhavanani Gopi
Samiksha Shankitamana Pratibodhitasi
Sambiksha Sankitamana Patibodhitasit. Someone online would like to chant the verse?
Trinitayadhyarupabandhamamushyamata
Trinitayajad amushamata
Shubham Sutasya Natu Tattaramushyamati
Shurvam Sutasya Natu Tattadamushamati
Yadrimbhato Savadane Bhuvanani Gopi
Yantrim Batosya Vadane Bhuvanani Gopi
Sambiksha Sankitamana Pratibodhitasi
Samviksha Sankitamana Pratibodhitasit
Anyone else online would like to chant? Vinita,
Grinita
by taking up,
by taking up
yat,
Yat
whatsoever,
whatsoever
upabandam,
Upabandham
ropes for tying,
ropes for tying
amusya,
Amusya
his,
Mata
mother,
Mother
sulbam,
Shulvam
ropes,
ropes
shutasya,
Sutasya
of her son,
of her son
not,
not
two,
two
however,
however
tat,
Tat
by and by,
and by
amusya,
his
mati,
Mati
by sufficient,
was sufficient
yat,
Yet
that which,
that which
jimbata,
Jimbhata
opening the mouth, asya,
Asya
of him,
of him
vadane,
Vadane
in the mouth,
bhuvanani
bhuvanani, the worlds, gopi, the coward woman, samdiksha, so seeing it, shankita, shankitamana, doubtful in mind, pratibodhita, convinced in a different way, asit, was so done. Translation: when the coward woman, Krishna's foster mother Yashoda, was trying to tie the hands of her son with ropes, she found the rope to be always insufficient in length. And when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna, by and by, opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Seeing this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of her son. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. One day, Lord Krishna, as a naughty child, disturbed his mother, Yashoda, and she began to tie up the child with rope just to punish him. But no matter how much rope she used, she found it always insufficient. Thus, she became fatigued. But in the meantime, the Lord opened his mouth, and the affectionate mother saw within the mouth of her son all the universes situated together. The mother was astonished, but out of her deep affection for Krishna, she thought of the Almighty Godhead Narayan. She thought that the Almighty Godhead Narayan had kindly looked after her son just to protect him from all the continuous calamities happening to him. Because of her deep affection for Krishna, she could never think that her very son was Narayan, the personality of Godhead himself. That is the action of Yoga Maya, the internal potency of the Supreme Lord, which acts to perfect all the pastimes of the Lord with his different types of devotees. Who could play such wonders without being God? Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyana Shala Shalakaya Shakshun Militan Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhistam Shtapintam Yena Bhutale Swayamupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakalamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saita Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paskachya Dejatarine. When the cowherd woman, Krishna foster mother Yashoda, was trying to tie the hands of her son with rope, she found the rope to be always insufficient in length, and when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna by and by opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Seeing this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of her son. Hare Krishna. This is quite a series of verses about Lord Shri Krishna. Brahma is speaking to his son Narada, and he have described different scheduled incarnations that come at a scheduled time and their purpose. And then he spent some time on Lord Ram. I think there was 3 verses on Lord Ramachandra. And then here is like really spending a lot more time describing the pastime of Lord Shri Krishna. Because Lord Shri Krishna, in a sense, is not an incarnation, is himself, is the source of all incarnation. And Lord Brahma, of course, is connected with that. And he wants to continue to describe the amazing pastimes of Lord Krishna, starting with his childhood. And, he's going little by little, he's going through his childhood and youth and like that, describing the wonder of the pastime of Krishna. And here he described a pastime that is quite well known, because during the months of Damodar, during the months of Kartik, we sing the glory of that pastime every day, and we remember that pastime, and we spend a lot of time absorbed in that pastime. So I'm not going to so much go there, because Kartik is coming soon, and within a month and a half, at the end of October, we are going to start the month of Damodar, which is Damodar is that the one is roped, the belly is tied by his mother's love. And so I'm not going to spend much time there today. What I was thinking to do is to read the other pastime. But what's amazing about this verse for me is that Srila Prabhupada described how Mother Yashoda saw the universe into the mouth of Krishna as she was tying him when she finished tying him. And that's interesting, because within Krishna book, like if we are familiar with the Krishna book, I know I usually read Krishna book again and again, because Srila Prabhupada tells us at the end of Krishna book that he wants us to read Krishna book again and again. He said within that book there is everything. So if I was to go with only one book, if I was in the situation I only have one book to take with me, I will take Krishna book, because in Krishna book there is all the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and there is all the pastime of Krishna that Srila Prabhupada wanted to give us. So it's quite complete. So in Krishna book, those pastimes are very separated. The pastime of Damodar and the pastime of the universal form. In fact, the universal form, the Krishna looking, Mother Yashoda looking in Krishna's mouth, come before the pastime of Damodar. It comes, like just after, like Krishna is still crawling, he's not even a toddler yet, and then there is a name-giving ceremony, and then just when he starts to walk, then he's playing with his friend, and then as he's playing with his friend Balaram, and his other friend are accusing him of eating dirt, and they are going to Mother Yashoda, and they tell about Krishna, how he ate dirt, and Krishna protests. He said, no, I didn't eat dirt, they are all lying. And so that's a pastime. And then after that pastime, then there is a pastime of Mother Yashoda binding Krishna with ropes, because he was naughty, he was breaking the pot of yogurts, and she was so busy with doing, in fact, she was busy serving Krishna. She was really busy serving Krishna. She had special milk from different cows, special cows, and she was taking care personally of boiling the milk for Krishna in order to make special yogurts for Krishna. Why? Because Krishna was always going to the neighboring gopis to steal yogurt and milk. So she said, I need to make my milk and yogurt way better than all my neighbors, that Krishna will feel satisfied in my household, instead of going to steal from other gopis. So that's how it's described in the Bhagavatam and the Krishna book, the chronology, let's say, of those two pastimes. So I was meditating, I was thinking, okay, Lord Brahma is describing the pastime of the Lord, and Srila Prabhupada is following up with the same chronology, which is different than what he gives us in a Krishna book and the Bhagavatam. So I pondered upon that. And as I was pondering, I got some, a sense of how, of course, the pastime of the Lord are unlimited. And what's given to us, and Prabhupada says, is a very, very limited chronology and biography of Lord Shri Krishna. It is said that in a heavenly planet, their Bhagavatam is way bigger. Like there is so much more. And we can imagine that each day is different, and each moment with Krishna is so full of different aspects of his opulence. Every moment in Krishna's in Krishna's pastime on earth. So there is so much. So it's a partial biography that we are being given, and then through different parts like that of the Bhagavatam, or also we have Nectar of Devotion is like that. We get to enter pastimes that are not in the Bhagavatam, at least the Bhagavatam given to us on earth. Pastimes that are not in Krishna book, like here, we see that Lord Brahma is describing a pastime that we are not very familiar with. We are familiar with the pastime of Damodar, but that part of the pastime where the Lord opened his mouth and his mother sings a universal form, we are not familiar. And I'm not here to speculate why Shukadev Goswami didn't share that pastime with Parikshit Maharaj, or why, even if he described it, he didn't go through the disciplic succession with Sutta Goswami and then different narrator and Vyasadev narration of the Bhagavatam. I'm not here to speculate about why this particular pastime is not included, and I'm not also here to speculate about making this pastime wrong because it's not in the book I know. So as I was wondering, I was really like tapping into the inconceivable aspect of Krishna's pastime, and how there is in every moment, there is wonder happening in Krishna's pastime, and also in his Krishna's pastime, even in the form of the material energy. There is always wonder. Krishna of pastimes, and you have his personal pastime, and you also have his external pastime connected with external energy. And now there is such a wonder in every moment of perfection in the way Krishna is manifesting himself. And in a purport, Srila Prabhupada, he speaks specifically about Mother Yashoda. So I can go back to the pastime I know about Mother Yashoda seeing the universal form. And now Mother Yashoda, she doesn't want to know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She doesn't want to know that and Krishna doesn't want to know that his mother will know that. That will take the fun out of his pastime. That will take the fun out of his relationship with his mother. So that action of covering the devotee, of his ability to see Krishna, is Yoga Maya. And the counter energy that also bewilder the conditioned soul is also Maya, and it's Mahamaya. So when we understand those two Maya, we can little by little get to go deeper into the pastime of the Lord and understanding his pastime and activities, understanding those two Maya, understanding like, yes, I'm completely separated from Krishna because of my illusion, and my illusion is separating from Krishna and bringing me away from Krishna. And then Mother Yashoda, she's completely illusioned that Krishna is her son, that Krishna is that little boy who need to be protected from all the demons, that Krishna is that little boy that need to be chastised because he's naughty. And that illusion of Mother Yashoda bring her closer to Krishna, bring her like to allow for the intimacy of their relationship from mother to son to take place. Because without that illusion, then Mother Yashoda will stay in a mode of awe and reverence, which is not that relishable for Krishna. Of course, there is a place for that naturally. There is relationship in awe and reverence, and there is a level of intimacy. There is a level of rasa relating of Krishna with those souls who are in a mode of awe and reverence. But that will not be the case for his mother. That will not be the case for his coward boyfriends, or for his father, or for his gopi girlfriends. So, so here at the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is quite it's quite funny. He said, who could place such a wonder without being God? So I was thinking this morning to read from Krishna book, because to kind of highlight the wonder of the pastime of the Lord, and to highlight that sense, to absorb ourselves in that yoga maya, and how without yoga maya, in a sense, yoga maya is supporting the fun of the Lord, supporting for the Lord to enjoy a relationship that are devoid of that awe and reverence. Sometimes we take the example of a king. We may have a king, and if we imagine the king's wife or the king's children or his grandchildren interacting with the king as the king, then we can see how the king will miss out on some very intimate, emotional interaction between himself, his wife, or himself and his children. I know when I was growing up, I had a grandfather, and he was magistrate, and somehow I was his favorite, and somehow he didn't really feel the same towards my brothers. I had 3 brothers. So my brother, he was asking them to call them Mr. Karbusha, Mr. Karbusha, not Mr. Maître, like Prabhu. Master is more like master, like Maître Karbusha, Master Karbusha. So he was asking them to call him the same way people will call him in court. And then me, who somehow he had fondness for me. He has fondness for me. Me, he was allowing me to call him Jojo, because his name was Joe. And so I was calling Jojo. And he will take me on his laps, and he will laugh with me, and he will be always happy to see me. So we can see that that was relishable for that grandfather. And then with my brother, he was keeping them kind of away in a form of respect. Maybe he was training them to be respectful. I'm not sure why he was doing what he did. He left this planet. I was quite young, maybe 6-year-old or something like that. So I don't have a lot of memory. Maybe I was 7. And so it's the same. We can see that in our life, how it works for us. And of course, it's perverted reflection of what's happening for Krishna, and at the same time, in our life, the example of our life, we can understand something about Krishna, and how Krishna he loves that intimacy. But that intimacy can only be given when there will be no familiarity associated with it. So I'm suggesting that I'm going to read now from Krishna book. Okay, I want to start from a scene like Gargamuni had given the name and given all the astrological reading of Krishna, saying how such a great personality of taking birth, and Nanda Maharaj feels so proud to hear about his sons, and how in fact Narayan himself became his son. And then Krishna and Balaram became really funny. They were crawling around on their knees and playing with calf. What they will do, they they will go to the little calves, and that they will agitate the calf. And then when the calf will be agitated, they will run. And then Krishna Balaram, they will catch the tail of the calf. And they were crawling at the time. You can see like a really, really small babies and how much ability they had. So they will hold on to the tail of the calf. And then the calf will run. And then Krishna and Balaram will be on trail behind the calf. And that will be so much fun to just watch that. And all the gopis, they will laugh and they will enjoy watching the pastime of the Lord. So, and he said the gopis will merge in transcendental bliss. So here we are coming to that scene where all the gopis are in transcendental bliss. Both Krishna and Balaram were so restless. So that's when they were little crawling babies, that their mothers, Yashoda and Rohini just arrived here, Rohini Dasi, Devi Dasi, that their mother, Yashoda and Rohini, will try to protect them from cows, bull, monkeys, water, fire, and birds, while they were executing their household duties, always being anxious to protect the children and to execute their duties. They were not very tranquil. In a very short time, both Krishna and Balaram began to stand up and slightly move on their legs. When Krishna and Balaram began to walk, other friends of the same age joined them, and together they began to give the highest transcendental pleasure to the gopis, specifically to Mother Yashoda and Rohini. Do you want to read? That would help me. Lion is going to read because my voice is not.
What was the last word here?
Rohini. The second paragraph.
All the gopi friends of Yashoda and Rohini enjoyed the naughty childish activities of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. In order to enjoy further transcendental bliss, they all assembled and went to Mother Yashoda to lodge complaints against the restless boys. When Krishna was sitting before Mother Yashoda, all the elderly gopis began to lodge complaints against him so that Krishna could hear. They said, "Dear Yashoda, why don't you restrict your naughty Krishna? He comes to our houses along with Balaram every morning and evening, and before the milking of the cows, they let loose the calves, and the calves drink all the milk of the cows. So when we go to milk the cows, we find no milk, and we have to return with empty pots. If we warn Krishna and Balaram about doing this, they simply smile charmingly. We cannot do anything. Also, your Krishna and Balaram find great pleasure in stealing our stock of yogurt and butter from wherever we may keep it. When Krishna and Balaram are caught stealing the yogurt and butter, they say, 'Why do you charge us with stealing? Do you think that butter and yogurt are in scarcity in our house?' Sometimes they steal butter, yogurt, and milk and distribute them to the monkeys. When the monkeys are well fed and do not take any more, then your boys chide. 'This milk and butter and yogurt are useless. Even the monkeys won't take it.' And they break the pots and throw them hither and thither. If we keep our stock of yogurt, butter, and milk in a solitary dark place, your Krishna and Balaram find it in the darkness by the glaring effulgence of the ornaments and jewels on their bodies. If by chance they cannot find the hidden butter and yogurt, they go to our little babies and pinch their bodies so that they cry, and then they go away. If we keep our stock of butter and yogurt high on the ceiling, hanging on a swing, although it is beyond their reach, they arrange to reach it by piling all kinds of wooden crates over the grinding machine. And if they cannot reach, they make a hole in the pot. We think, therefore, that you better take all the jeweled ornaments from the bodies of your children." On hearing this, Yashoda would say, "All right, I will take all the jewels from Krishna so that he cannot see the butter hidden in the darkness." Then the gopis would say, No, don't do this. What good will you do by taking away the jewels? We do not know what kind of boys these are, but even without ornaments, they spread some kind of effulgence so that even in darkness, they can see everything. Then Mother Yashoda would inform them, "All right, keep your butter and yogurt carefully so that they may not reach it. In reply to these, the gopis said, "Yes, actually we do so, but because we are sometimes engaged in our household duties, these naughty boys enter our house somehow or other and spoil everything. Sometimes being unable to steal our butter and yogurt. Out of anger, they pass urine on the clean floor and sometimes spit on it. Just see your boys now. He is hearing this complaint. All day they simply make arrangements to steal our butter and yogurt. And now they are sitting just like very silent, good boys. Just see his face." When Mother Yashoda thought to chastise her boy after hearing all these complaints, she saw his pitiable face, and smiling, she did not chastise him.
So we can see the fun. We can see the fun. Like Srila Prabhupada sometimes say, like, Krishna is like an actor. He comes and he enacts his pastime. And here in this little scene that Narayan was just reading about, we can see the enjoyment, and how everybody takes place and everybody takes their role. Like the gopis, they complain because like that, like it's their relationship with Krishna. They complain, but at the same time, as soon as Mother Yashoda want to chastise Krishna Balaram, they say, no, don't chastise them. So there is so much and yoga maya energy there that we can see, like they are in love with Krishna. They cannot stop speaking about Krishna. They cannot stop watching Krishna. And at the same time, they cannot stop complaining about Krishna. So the energy of yoga maya is the one who is permitting those pastimes to take place for Krishna and Balaram to really have a lot of fun. We can imagine how fun God has when he decides to come on earth and go and steal butter and run around and play tricks on his eternal associates in the form of the gopis and in the form of the gopas. Rohini, would you like to read? Can you show her where you start? Okay. I don't know what's that.
Another day when Krishna and Balaram were playing with their friends, all the boys joined Balaram and told Mother Yashoda that Krishna had eaten clay. On hearing this, Mother Yashoda caught hold of Krishna's hand and said, "My dear Krishna, why have you eaten earth in a solitary place? Just see, all your friends, including Balaram, are complaining about you." Being afraid of his mother, Krishna replied, "My dear mother, all these boys, including my elder brother Balaram, are speaking lies against me. I have never eaten clay. My elder brother Balaram, while playing with me today, became angry, and therefore he has joined with the other boys to complain against me. They have all combined together to complain, so you will be angry and chastise me. If you think they are truthful, then you can look within my mouth to see whether I have taken clay or not." His mother replied, "All right, if you have actually not taken any clay, then just open your mouth and I shall see." When the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was so ordered by his mother, he immediately opened his mouth just like an ordinary boy. Then Mother Yashoda saw within that mouth the complete opulence of creation. She saw the entire outer space in all directions: mountains, islands, oceans, seas, planets, air, fire, moon, and stars. And along with the moon and stars, she also saw the entire elements: water, sky, the extensive ethereal existence, along with the total ego and the products of the senses and the controller of the senses, all the demigods, the objects of the senses like sound, smell, etc., and the three qualities of material nature. She also could perceive that within his mouth were all living entities, eternal time, material nature, spiritual nature, activity, consciousness, and different forms of the whole creation. Yashoda could find within the mouth of her child everything necessary for cosmic manifestation. She also saw within his mouth herself taking Krishna on her lap and having him sucking her breast. Upon seeing all this, she became struck with awe and began to wonder whether she was dreaming or actually seeing something extraordinary. She concluded that she was either dreaming or seeing the play of the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She thought that she had become mad, mentally deranged, to see all those wonderful things. Then she thought, it may be cosmic mystic power attained by my child, and therefore I am perplexed by such visions within his mouth. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose energy bodily self and bodily possessions are conceived. She then said, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, under whose illusory energy I am thinking that Nanda Maharaj is my husband and Krishna is my son, that all the properties of Nanda Maharaj belong to me, and that all the cowherd men and women are my subjects. All this misconception is due to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. So let me pray to him that he may protect me always. While Mother Yashoda was thinking in this high philosophical way, Lord Krishna again expanded his internal energy just to bewilder her with maternal affection. Immediately, Mother Yashoda forgot all philosophical speculation and accepted Krishna as her own child. She took him on her lap and became overwhelmed with maternal affection. She thus began to think, Krishna is not understandable to the masses through the gross process of knowledge, but he can be received through the Upanishads and the Vedanta, or mystic yoga system, and Sankhya philosophy. Then she began to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as her own begotten child. Certainly, Mother Yashoda had executed many, many pious activities, as a result of which she got the absolute truth, Supreme Personality of Godhead, as her son who sucked milk from her breast. Similarly, Nanda Maharaj, who also must have performed many great sacrifices and pious activities for Lord Krishna to become his son and address him as father. But it is surprising that Vasudeva and Devaki did not enjoy the transcendental bliss of Krishna's childhood pastimes. Although Krishna was their real son, the childhood pastimes of Krishna are glorified even today by many sages and saintly persons. But Vasudeva and Devaki cannot enjoy such childhood pastime personally. The reason for this was explained by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit as follows. When the best of the Vasus of the name Drona, along with his wife Dara, were ordered to increase progeny by Lord Brahma, they said unto him, Dear Father, we are seeking your benediction. Drona and Dara then took benediction from Brahma that in the future, when they would take birth again within the universe, the Supreme Lord Krishna, in his most attractive feature of childhood, would absorb their whole attention. Their dealings with Krishna would be so powerful that simply by hearing of Krishna's childhood activities with them, anyone could very easily cross over the nescience of birth and death. Lord Brahma agreed to give them the benediction, and as a result, the name Drona appeared as Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan, and the same Dara appeared as Mother Yashoda, the wife of Nanda Maharaj. In this way, Nanda Maharaj and his wife, Mother Yashoda, developed their unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having gotten him as their son. And all the gopis and cowherd men who were associates of Krishna naturally developed their own different feelings of love for Krishna. Therefore, just to fulfill the benediction of Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna appeared along with his plenary expansion, Balaram, and performed all kinds of childhood pastimes in order to increase the transcendental pleasure of all residents of Vrindavan. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 8th chapter of Krishna, Vision of the Universal Form.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jai. Hare.
Jai Hare Krishna. Sorry for the headache, twisting you around. Before we go to question, I will just say a few words. This past time, we can see Mother Yashoda, when she was looking at the mouth of Krishna, all of a sudden she lost that illusion, Yogamaya. She lost that sense of who she was as an eternal associate of the Lord. And then what's interesting is how she also expressed feeling like she's covered by Mahamaya. She see me like I was in illusion, thinking he's my husband, and the wealth of my husband, or also the belonging of my husband. So she really expressed the distinction between all the different ways a soul can be bewildered in such a condensed way. In that pastime, we can see the different aspects of Maya in the form of illusion that I'm this body, or I'm this personality, or our own things. And then and then at one point she was devoid of any illusion. She was really like in awe and reverence in front of the Lord. And then Krishna was not very satisfied with that. He didn't want his mother that he didn't want his mother to be seeing him in that place of awe and reverence, and her wanting to bow down before him. And then that's when the Yogamaya came to cover her again, and her being able to see that Krishna is her son, even if he's a personality of Godhead. In a sense, she doesn't care. She's happy to feed her breast to her son and to protect him and to take care of him. So I'm going to read the verse again, and then we can open to some question or comments. Krinitaya dhyada bandha mamushamata sulbam sutasya natu tatat amushamati yashrim batoshad vadane bhavana nikopi samviksha sankita mana pratibodhita sit. When the cowherd woman, Krishna's foster mother Yashoda, was trying to tie the hand of her son with rope, she found that the rope to be always insufficient in length. And when she finally gave up, Lord Krishna by and by opened his mouth, wherein the mother found all the universes situated. Seeing this, she was doubtful in her mind, but she was convinced in a different manner of the mystic nature of our son. Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening, being together, relishing Krishna's pastime. Any comments, question? What's happening for you? Anything someone would like to share?
I was really appreciating the part about Krishna and Balaram, like kind of resentfully urinating and spitting on the gopis' floor. I was thinking like how far out the concept of like the Alpha and Omega, Almighty, original source of everything, just like peeing on the floor. Like it's just
How inconceivable is that?
Yeah, it's really far out, and then it's really interesting just to think of Krishna like really wanting to experience every experience and share that with his devotees, and like not holding back. Like I've never really thought about how insane it is to like show Mother Yashoda the universe, like fractal infinitely within himself. Like that's just that'd be so like psychedelic, like what is going and it's like that's potentially like so disturbing and intense, and she's like bewildered and disturbed by it. But yeah, I was just thinking about how that makes sense in a way, that Krishna is just like, he doesn't hold back, he just like fully commits to being in that space, like as a naughty child, and then like kind of, you know, being really naughty, being really his like mystical self, and then his devotees just kind of like they're never actually like upset, because it's always something to relish, because they're like in relationship with him. They're not under that Mahamaya illusion. So it's always, even like peeing on the floor and spitting on the floor like that, somehow that's like so relishable. That's interesting.
Thank you. I appreciate the concept that Krishna doesn't hold back. Yeah, we can imagine his desire is to enjoy, and his desire is to also increase the enjoyment of his devotees, like when he was reading at the end of the purport. And when Krishna does something, he does it fully and completely, because he's complete and perfect. And including when he spit and he pees on the floor, and how by doing that, it's quite inconceivable to imagine like the creator of the moon and the sun and the whole cosmic manifestation and all the elements and the false ego and the intelligence and all that. So the source of all that is a little boy, also taking the form of a little boy peeing on people's floor. And how, and it's, and there is a parallel, because there is Yoga Maya and there is Mahamaya, and how, like the hearing the pastime of the Lord is completely absolute and purifying and complete. And we can also look at, okay, in our own life, how Krishna does so many things too, and how a pure devotee completely enjoy the moving of the material energy, whatever the material energy, whatever motion is there in the material energy. A pure devotee learn to relish in the same way, and step out of duality of bad and good and bad, to relish whatever happened, knowing that whatever happened in one's life is perfect and complete, and that there is no mistake in the universe, and that's just the desire of Krishna being manifested and unfolding.
Yeah, I too was.
Speak louder.
I too was like struck by the to visualize, Krishna and Balaram like peeing and spitting on the floor, and also I think just throughout the reading, I was seeing how like Malini and Subal do all of those things. Like, they've peed on the floor to,
When they're upset?
Yes, like that has happened. Like, no, mommy, I didn't eat that. When no, I didn't do that. Okay, let me look in your mouth and see. Like, did you? Let me see if you really ate that. No, I didn't eat that. So, and just I'm really appreciating, and I love the fact that Krishna is doing that just to enjoy, and have fun, to just enact that, to act that out, I don't know, it brings lightness to my experience with my children. I know if my children aren't, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still, like, it gives me some perspective and like distance from it.
Mm-hmm. That you could, while being responsible to be a parent, there's a responsibility as parents to raise children with good character and all that. You could have distance enough to also kind of enjoy your children's naughtiness.
I think that I do, but in the moment I might like choose anger.
Like Mother Yashoda.
Yeah, yes. Yes, but right from hearing about it now, I'm connecting with like the fun I could have, or something like that I could have some detachment or distance from it in a way that's like healthy, that's healthier.
Yeah.
And like getting like just so entangled in it.
Instead of being wrapped up into that and reactive to it, you could still rectify what needs to be rectified as in your responsibility as parents, and at the same time kind of laughing inward. Yes. And you can see like by thinking of Krishna and Krishna enjoying, he's really enjoying like doing all those things. And I like Narayan's point of he's giving 100% to his enjoyment. Krishna is the master of enjoyment, he's a supreme enjoyer, so he knows how to enjoy. And he shows us, okay, here is our enjoyer. Be on the floor, and sleep on the floor. And it makes the copies upset. And when they're upset, the more they are upset, the more transcendental bliss they experience. So it's like an exchange also. And so for you, you could take the Supreme Personality of Godhead, these pastimes, to help you develop more detachment from the activity of your children that are irritating or angering. And still maybe manifest anger and irritation, however, not be wrapped up or entangled in it.
Like
to be able to be
and choose anger or something like.
Choosing, be detached and choose irritation or choose anger or choose boundaries, but at the same time being able to enjoy, like, oh, this is so funny.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohini Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, this vision of the universal form in the mouth of Krishna, this has always been, since I first read Krishna book. Krishna book was amongst the first books of Prabhupada that I read. And this has always been amongst my favorites in its transcendental psychedelia. I like the word Narayan used. This has always been one of my favorites. And I'm in hearing these comments. Yeah, I'm getting like the meta view. Okay, so we got Shukadeva Goswami speaking to Maharaj Parikshit on the banks of the Ganges, and they're surrounded by maybe it's thousands, maybe it's millions of like great sages and ascetics from all over the universe. And that whole scene's being described by Sutta Goswami speaking to Sanaka Rishi at Nami Sharanya, again, with these great, the Pandits, the sages, these are not frivolous people.
Yeah.
And that whole scene's being described by Vyasadeva. He's the venerable sage like that. So these are people they're not interested in anything whimsical. They're not interested in gossip. They're not interested in silliness. They're only interested in truth. And you would think all of these people, they're just interested in absolute truth. You might think they're going to speak about the void within the void, or
Something really intellectual.
Or the light, or like that. But they're speaking about two boys, as Narayan said, in resentment and spite, urinating and spitting. And so this is far more intellectual than any of the intellectual discussions we might find at the university, because this points that yes, the absolute truth, the absolute is personal, and the absolute has pastimes and activities and emotion and relationship and fun and dancing and urinating, and it's personal beyond what we can conceive. So I was always fascinated by this pastime, and here, I'm just hearing the discussion between everyone. I'm just getting the whole meta view of these sages discussing, and they're only interested in the absolute truth, and this is it.
Mm-hmm. And Lord Brahma discussing with Nada right now.
Yeah.
He's like the engineer of the universe, and he's speaking. Yeah, and Krishna pinching little babies. That's highly intellectual. Thank you for that comment, enlivening comment, dear Govinda. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.